What's going on, Minties? This is Omar from Near Mint Condition, and today we're going to be looking at this Crisis on Infinite Earths box set. It's not out yet, but we have some of the solicitations and some of the books that are in here. So, stay tuned.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
And welcome back, everybody. As I stated earlier, the box set is not out yet. It will be out later on this year. This kind of popped up out of nowhere. This box set popped up at Amazon, and it's just called the Crisis box set, by the way, at first. And immediately I thought, oh man, they're going to do every event. They're going to go from Crisis all the way to Rebirth. Everything's going to be included in here, Infinite Crisis, all the main event. Well, that's not the case. It is the Crisis on Infinite Earths box set. So let's take a look at this. This is also available, I think it popped up on the Penguin Random House retail website. That's where it first popped up. What is in here? We know it's going to be 14 books, 14 hardcovers. We don't know the sizes yet. It's a $500 retail price point. Right now it's on Amazon for pre-order for $350. Marvel has been doing these box sets for the last couple of years. They've done Infinity Gauntlet, they've done Civil War, they've done some of the classic stories like that. So I think this is just following suit. I don't think it's gonna be anything like a absolute size, which of course George Perez needs to be an absolute size to enjoy his art, or anything, even oversized hardcover. I think it's just gonna be your, sadly, standard, long shot, not even DC book, but your standard size hardcover books, kind of like the Marvel books, just based on the price point alone. Okay, so what's in here? And let's talk about that, because there are some things that are missing. As you all know, Crisis on Infinite Earths is where I started reading DC, and that's where my DC universe began. But this box set has 14 hardcovers, right? So this goes back all the way to the Silver and Bronze Age is where this kicks off. And I'll talk about what's missing a little bit later. So only 11 of these are known to us so far. There's going to be 14. The first hardcover collects Justice League of America 21 through 22, 29 through 30, 37 through 38, and 46 and 47. Now, this is Justice League 21, which is the Crisis on Earth 1 team-up with the JSA, the Golden Age JSA. Now we have Crisis on Multiple Earths Volume 2, and that collects Justice League of America 55 through 56, 64 through 65, 73 and 74, and 82 and 83. So by now you can tell that it's kind of hopping everywhere. It's not a one consistent story. They're just focusing on team-ups between multiple Earths, which I kind of was thinking that's what they were going to do. Crisis on Multiple Earths Volume 3 collects Justice League of America 91 and 92, 100 to 102, 107 to 108, and issue 113. And the 100th issue, that's the one with the, I think it's the Soldiers of Victory, the storyline. So that's another Earth crossover. And by now, you know, the Justice League is teaming up with the JSA more, and also Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters. And this is all different Earths. So this is kind of where it all starts. Still in the Silver Age, and then some of the Bronze Age stuff. And then we get Crisis on Multiple Earths Volume 4. That hardcover collects Justice League of America 123 and 124, 135 through 137, and 147 through 148. And now we're seeing characters from the Fawcett comics when they bought all those characters like Captain Marvel. Shazam. Show up in this universe. And they're crossing over again with Superman and those characters. Then we have Crisis on Multiple Earths Volume 5, collecting Justice League of America 159 and 160, 171 and 172, 183 through 185. And I think that 183 through 185 is that 3-part crossover. It's like Crisis on New Genesis. It's got the connecting covers. I love that. I love those connecting covers. And then Crisis on Multiple Earths Volume 6, collecting Justice League of America 195 through 197, 207 through 209, and then All-Star Squadron 14 through 15. I remember some of those being kind of boring. Actually, a lot of these were kind of boring. But that's my opinion. I hope you guys end up getting this. Enjoy this. Now we get to the meat and potatoes, the actual Crisis on Infinite Earths. That just collects the main event. Just issues 1 through 12. That's it. Then we have the All-Star Squadron hardcover. This collects All-Star Squadron 50 through 60. And that is everything collected in there. Nothing but All-Star Squadron. This, of course, takes place during the time of Crisis on Infinite Earths. So a lot of the Red Sky crossovers. And I think that's what most of these are. Because then we have Crisis on Infinite Earths Green Lantern hardcover. So this collects Green Lantern 194 through 198. Legion of Superheroes 16, skipping 17 and moving on to 18. So it has 16 and 18. And Omega Man 31 and 33. It's interesting to put those in there. I guess because it's all space. Then we have Crisis on Infinite Earths Justice League hardcover. The Fury of the Firestorm 41 through 42 is collected in there. Detective Comics 558. Wonder Woman 327 through 329. And New Teen Titans 13 through 14. Why the hell is that called Justice League? I mean, I guess the members are in there, but there's not even a single Justice League issue in there. DC. And then the final one that we know of is Crisis on Infinite Earths Legend hardcover. The Legends hardcover. This collects the Losers Special number 1. Swamp Thing 44 and 46. Legend... Oh, I love this cover. Legends of the DC Universe Crisis on Infinite Earths number 1. Blue Devil 17 through 18. And Amethyst number 13. Now, that's everything we know so far. That's only 11 of the 14 hardcovers. So what I'm going to talk about next might be collected in there. But yeah, my question is, where's Flash 123? That's the Flash of Two Worlds storyline. And like I said, I'm not a fan of a lot of these older stories, but I know people are. And as a completist, I would know that I would want stories like that in there. And that, I think, is regarded as the first multiverse comic. Where's New Teen Titans 21? First appearance of the Monitor. I mean, if you're going to have earlier appearances of the crossover events, or I'm sorry, of the Earths crossing over, why not have the first appearance of your protagonist? Yeah, I don't get that. And then he also appeared in annual number 2. And then we're missing a ton of issues of Infinity Incorporated. So I'm hoping that a lot of these Infinity issues have their own hardcover. It's one of the missing hardcovers. Because we're missing Infinity Inc. 18 through 24. I mean, those are crucial. And then annual number 1. And now we're missing some Justice League stories. Like some of the last few issues of the multiverse crossovers with the JSA. Also missing Justice League 244 and 245 and annual number 3. But those could be squeezed into that Justice League hardcover they announced that don't have any issues of the Justice League. Maybe. The big ones are coming up next. This I'm sure will have their own hardcover. We have this DC Comics Presents 86, 87. Of course, that's being the big one where Superboy Prime meets Superman and they have a team up. Superboy Prime eventually being a big part of Crisis on Infinite Earths and a bigger part of Infinite Crisis. Then we are also missing issue 88 and DC Comics Presents issue 94. And that's the aftermath of Crisis. That's where Arbinger, Pariah, and Lady Quark, they all try to figure out their place on this new Earth. Also missing Superman 413 through 415, Superman 423, and Action Comics 583, of course, being... Those are the... what are they? The Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow by Alan Moore stories. That kind of says a goodbye to the Silver Age and Golden Age kind of storytelling. I love those stories. One of the few that I actually enjoy from the pre-Crisis on Infinite Earths time. Now, the big one. And honestly, I think Superman will probably have his own hardcover. The big one. Where the hell is the history of the DC Universe? How are they doing this without... I mean, that is the aftermath. That's what sets up the new Earth. So it's pretty much a record made by Arbinger telling the new history of the newly formed Earth. Of course, some of it is messed up, like the Hawkeye. Sorry, just saw the Avengers trailer yesterday. Hawkman origin, because it didn't make any sense at the time. But anyway, now I'm assuming that the 3 volumes not listed will include that 7th canceled JSA JLA books, the team ups books, probably the history of the DC universe and some indexes. And then some of these comics that are missing in there, but I don't see them all being collected. However, the alternative is also keeping your hardcover, your oversized hardcover, or your absolute, and just getting the 3 compendiums that are coming out. Well, we have 3 so far, because a lot of these are reprinted in there. So I guess that's one way of doing it. So right now, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I love Crisis on Infinite Earths. We actually reviewed it on Old Reader, New Readers. The ladies weren't too fond of it, but you know, it's a classic for me. It was my confusing ass segue into the DC universe. So I'm a fan of that box set. I mean, that's not the final art, but it looks really cool if they did that cover wrapped around. And I'm curious to see if they are going to be standard size or oversized hardcovers. I'm leaning more towards standard size, and it really depends on the price point. But right now, I'm going to say pass for me. I'd love to know if you guys have it pre-ordered already. I put the link on the description if you want to pre-order it, or if you're going to pass up on it, or if you're even curious as to what the Crisis on Infinite Earths is. If you are, go buy the trade paperback. Do not get this giant box set. But that's it. That's it. So leave those comments down below. Again, this was Omar. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint. Excuse me, I gotta go get my pup. He's outside.